know it. And they needed someone to talk with. Why? Because many of them were going to die alone. And so they just needed someone. So I was visiting church members at that time at the church I was serving at. And while I was there, other people would ask me, Pastor, can you talk to me too? And so I did, right? And the thing that they would most want to talk about is regrets. Regrets. And you know what I realized about their regrets? It always comes down to things that they wish they could have done or should have done, but didn't. I wish I could have told my children I love them one more time. Or I wish I had gone on more vacations with my family. I wish I could have done these things, but they didn't do those things. Regrets are lifelong. When we go look back, our biggest regrets will oftentimes be the things that we know we should have done or could have done, but we didn't. And what Solomon is teaching us is that when we recognize that these seasons of joy and the seasons of suffering don't last forever, and it really reshifts our priorities and focus on what we should do, we begin to live a life that's a lot less filled with regrets. We stop talking about all the woulda, coulda, shouldas that we wish we could have done, or would have done, and should have done. Why? Because we've actually done those things. We lived our lives to the fullest of what God purposed and intended it to be. Once again, brothers and sisters, Solomon's point here is this. Time is one of the most wonderful, precious gifts that God has given to all of us. But in his experience, and he was one of the wisest people in the history of Israel, he realized that it was the gift that God had given him that he most wasted and squandered. And his hope is that as we read Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it isn't meant to depress you. It isn't meant for you to become, oh man, I'm living that way. How terrible, how sad is that? No, it's meant to challenge you. If I continue to head this course, like Solomon, I'm going to look back in a life full of regrets. I'm going to think about all the seasons that I've wasted, all that time that I squandered. And Solomon's heart for you is for you to realize that now at this time of your life, so that you can live life, the rest of your life, full of that joy, full of that hope, full of that enjoyment that God had meant for you. We're going to take some time to pray, to reflect, and I'm going to ask you guys to think about these questions. Number one is this. Think about some of the most important aspects of your life during this season right now. Right? Like, what are the most important things? And think about it more from a kingdom's perspective, God's perspective. Because, sometimes we're like little children where what's most important, right? Where most important is not really what's most important. So think about it more from a mature, kingdom, God-centered perspective. What are the most important things of your life? And let me ask you, does your schedule, does your money or your budgeting, and even the way you make decisions, does it reflect how important those things are and how it should be a priority? And if it doesn't, if you realize whether it's family, whether it's academics, whether it's getting an internship, whether it's making lifelong, whatever those things might be, right? Whenever you realize, this season of my life, these are what should be my priorities, this is what's most important. Does your schedule, your budgeting, your decision making, does it reflect that? If it doesn't, say, God, I realize that, like Solomon is saying, this is a wonderful season of my life that you have given to me as a gift, but I'm wasting it, I'm squandering it. So pray, say, God, help me, empower me to know and to make the necessary changes I need to make. Secondly is this. Once again, Solomon teaches that time is an irreplaceable gift. It's an irreplaceable gift. You'll never get it back. This hour that we have, right, on what day today is, August, whatever it is, it will never exist again. Right? This particular time will never exist again. It's an irreplaceable gift. These times that you have as parents with your children, this season will never come again. It's an irreplaceable gift. So whether it's a time of suffering or a time of joy, time was always meant to be a gift that's meant to be enjoyed. Time, no matter what season it is, whether it's suffering or whether it's joy, it's a gift from God meant to be enjoyed. However, as Solomon teaches, we all struggle with wasting these precious moments. So I want you to think about just this 1 week. For this 1 week, what's one thing that you want to really prioritize, or one thing that you really want to do? Maybe something new, maybe something that you've always said you were going to do, or maybe something that you know you always should have done, whatever it might be. But think about one thing that you're saying, this week, I really want to prioritize on this. And make a commitment to do it while you can at this season of your life. So think about these 2 questions as you begin to guide your prayers, right? And reflection of what Solomon teaches about time. After we take some time to pray, the praise team will lead us to a song of response. It's some time to pray.